Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Batman the Animated Series Season 1, Nothing to Fear. This is a very good psychological episode. It deals with the very first appearance of the Master of Fear himself, the Scarecrow. And I like this Scarecrow a whole lot more than the one that's on the Titans show. So, like, this version of the Scarecrow, he only dons this costume one time. I personally like it. It just has like a sack for a face. There's like no eyes. They're hollowed out. A eerie mouth. The Scarecrow clothes and everything, and there's no hair. Bruce Timm has stated that it never looked scary to him, so he redesigned it for fear of victory. And when he redesigned that, he changed the mask. He gave it more of a mouth, a crooked mouth, some jagged teeth at the bottom, some scraggy yellow hair, and some pupil for the eyes. The newer design is creepy, but it's not as cool and scary and eerie as this one. However, for the new Batman Adventures, he went completely different. He gave it a ghoul face, and he gave it like old Western like preacher clothes, and like a noose around his neck for some reason. And it was even more creepier than like the original one. And then when he redesigned it for the new Batman Adventures, he changed up the voice. Now, the voice in this one, I love the voice in this one. It's creepy, it's eerie, it sounds British, it sounds scary. When the dude came back for Fear of Victory, he changed his voice up a little bit. I don't know why, but and so like this is an episode that deals with Batman and it hits him hard. See, the thing about the Scarecrow that's really cool is that he's one of Batman's all-time toughest villains, but he doesn't have to lay a finger on you. He just gets you from afar. He gets you with fear toxins. And he has different varieties of fear toxins because he was a psychiatrist and he was a chemist and everything. And this one is just basic fear. And the way he gets Batman is so emotional. Like, you really feel bad for, like, Bruce and everything. And this was really early on in the season. Like, you always feel bad because his parents died. But this is, like, one of the first times I ever felt, like, just sorry for the dude. Because, see, what happens is this. So, like, Bruce, he donates money to this type of university. And the university, the head of the university, he doesn't like Bruce. He feels as because he was friends with Bruce's dad. He feels as though Bruce is kind of like a playboy, millionaire type, which is his persona, so people won't recognize him as Batman. And so he thinks he's a disgrace to the Wayne name. This upsets Batman in the beginning, or Bruce, I should say. It really hits him hard because he loves his parents and he loves his father even more. And so for him to say that, because he knows why he's not able to be the upstanding, like, youth that his father wanted to be because he's too busy fighting crime at night. So next thing you know, he starts to see some strange activity going on in the building next to it. And it's the Scarecrow. Now, what I like about this Scarecrow first incarnation is that he's not your typical villain that's just going around stealing money to get rich and stuff. That's how it was in the comics. Every villain you pretty much saw was always in the get like quick cash scheme type thing. They're robbing from banks and stuff like that. They just wanted money. And so another thing so that was kind of cool because Bruce Timm, what he did was he gave him a revenge plot. He kind of retooled nearly every villain for their first appearance and made them more interesting, so much more interesting that it got like later incorporated in lots of live action movies. Another thing he did was that he didn't have the Scarecrow just want to gas the entire town and make everybody fear. Like, that's something that always happens in live action. It happened in Batman Begins. And and actually it kind of happened in Titans. I'm not sure what happened in Gotham. I stopped watching Gotham around the time the Scarecrow showed up in that, so I don't really know. So like, so Batman, he gets dressed, he goes over there, and the Scarecrow tells his goons. His goons are so dumb in this thing, man. They're like so stupid. Like he tells them straight up, take as much money as you can, fit in your pockets, and after that, burn the entire vault of cash. And the goons are shocked and surprised because he tells them it's not about the money, it's about revenge. But he doesn't tell them why he wants revenge. So, they're doing as he says, and one of them is looking out for cops. But he runs into Batman and gets his butt whooped. So Batman comes in with a gas mask, and then Scarecrow's kind of disappointed because he tried to gas Batman. So there's a more of a struggle, and Batman's like, no, his mask stays on. But the Scarecrow actually gets him this time with a dart. And Batman already starts to hallucinate. He's unable to catch the villains, and they get away. And he's about to burn to death, but he's able to get out. But he rips the Scarecrow's like cloth off his costume. There he's greeted by the cops and Harvey Bullock. And Harvey Bullock is not happy. So, Harvey just hates Batman. He's always trying to pin something on him. But he has an alibi, the security guard. Because Scarecrow got him before he got Batman. So, next thing you know, as he's kind of like driving back home. Is he driving back home, or is he already home? I'm thinking of that other Scarecrow episode. Because Scarecrow actually appears in the animated series 4 times, but 3 times he talks. And then he shows up a couple times in the New Adventures. So he's in the Batcave and he's analyzing the cloth that he ripped off of Scarecrow. But before that, he's starting to have some hallucinations. He's hearing his dad's voice, and his dad's telling him how he's a disgrace. And it really affects him because he already had that in his mind early on in this episode. So it's really affecting him when he's in the Batcave. And Alfred shows up and tries to reassure him that his dad would be proud of him because he's proud of him. Now, Alfred's voice in this, I think is one of those times that is voiced by the other actor. Because it doesn't sound like the normal dude. Also, in this, Kevin Conroy's voice is that traditional, dark Batman voice. Like, when he got to the Justice League series, he changed his voice up to be lighter, which really disappointed me. Like, I loved his deep, dark voice he had in the animated series. Like, that is a Batman's voice. And so, like, what is it? So I think at some point in time, Scarecrow, he finally decided to tell his goons why, he wants revenge. And he tells his backstory about how he was a professor at that college. And how, he loved scaring people ever since he was, a little kid, That's just always been his thing. And so when he got older, he perfected, fear toxins and studied people and their reactions to fear. But the head dude at the college thought he went too far and fired him. So he wants to ruin the college and the reputation of that head dude and kill his behind. So this kind of this banquet, and they're donating money and stuff. And for now, Bruce is okay. And so Scarecrow shows back up, and he gasses everybody in the banquet, and everybody is just freaking out. And so Batman shows up, and he's trying to stop everything, but the people turn on Batman because they think he's a giant bat. Well, Scarecrow came in a helicopter, so he gets away, and Batman goes after him, swinging from a rope and stuff, and boom, it starts to hit him again. He sees a skeleton. Then he sees his father talking about, Bruce, you're a disgrace to the family's name. And Batman is just in utter shame right now. But he also tries to regain his confidence by what Alfred told him. And it's what Alfred told him that gives him that boost that he needs to break the fear toxin. And then he delivers one of the most iconic Batman the animated series lines ever. when he tells, like, the hallucination that he's not a disgrace. And then he delivers the line of lines. I am not a disgrace. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. I was just like, whoa. And the way Kevin like delivers it, man, was just like awesome. And it's one of those things I wish they would do in live action. Somebody needs to say it in one of the live action movies. I was really hoping Ben Affleck would have had said it in his movie. Because that's okay. When I heard Ben got cast a couple of years back, I'm like, somebody has to say it. Nobody else said it, but he didn't say it. But I was also really hoping that the dude from Batman Begins would say, because the Scarecrow was actually in that movie. I feel bad for the Scarecrow, man. He was kind of like a puppet in Batman Begins. And it's just, I really wanted to see him at his full potential, but sadly, we didn't get that. Joel Schumacher was going to bring him in to redeem himself in Batman and Robin, but the studio said no. So Batman does his swinging thing. He's on the plane. He's beating up bad guys. There's a fire that starts on the plane. And so he gets he tosses the goons out, but they make it to safety. You can't kill nobody in that cartoon. But he swings the head college dude out of there, and the Scarecrow, he escapes. So as Batman's in the Batmobile, he's like, doing his detective stuff, and he's using the Bat computer, and he determines that he doesn't know who the Scarecrow is. So he has the cloth. And he's finally able to analyze it. And the computer says they come from like Crane Industries or something like that. And it also has a nice little Easter egg of Star Labs, our first reference of it, way years before the Superman cartoon came out. And so he heads to the place before Scarecrow gets there. I'm not really sure how he got there before he did. But, the Scarecrow, he got away in a really old-fashioned type plane. Bruce Timm went all out on that design, man. That Art Deco style, man, I swear. So when Batman gets there, he like unleashes the gas, and Scarecrow gets affected by it. And then we see this really cool image of Scarecrow freaking out, because he sees Batman as a giant bat monster, which is a great reference because that's what Batman Begins did, And so, like, you can tell they got that from the animated series and stuff. So then as the episode ends, he's at like this family's gravesite. It's a giant gravestone. And as he walks away, the most interesting and cool like image happened. Now Bruce Timm said this scene doesn't make no sense whatsoever, but it's still cool because it happens in another episode, the Almost Got Him episode. So as he's walking away, you see his shadow, and because he's not in his Batman costume, he's in his regular clothes. And then as he's walking away, you see two pointy ears coming from his head, like he's wearing his cowl. And that indicates that this is, like, no matter what, like, Bruce Wayne is Batman. Like, there is no more Bruce Wayne. The moment his parents died, he became Batman. Man, that's just a cool image reference. Why can't they do that in live action? It would be so rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't that spooky. Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.